Hi, this is Maria from theteacherschool.com. I am an educational therapist and a math specialist, and I work with kids who are struggling with math and have, like you, had to turn to virtual learning since COVID started. And I wanted to talk today about how I've been using virtual manipulatives, specifically what I'm calling my math manipulative library. So I just wanted to kind of show you some examples of how I've been using math manipulatives, virtual math manipulatives, but also how I've been organizing them. So I started this math manipulative library. It's here in a little folder. You can see I also have a lot of other resources because I work with all kinds of kids. And I basically, inside this library, have, let me pull it down a little bit just to show you what I have in here. This is just some of what you could have. This is how I've organized it. So I have charts, like the hundreds chart and the multiplication chart, and then a 10 frame and a base 10 mat. I don't have those organized into folders because these are just the things that I pull often. And then these other pieces are just basically your standard manipulative. So just like you would have them organized in your classroom, I have them organized just here in on my desktop in a folder. I have dice clip art. I think this was free. I believe this is free, so I will link to that. It was free on Teachers Pay Teachers. I also have some free base 10 blocks, also free. I'll link to that. They're not, again, I should say they're not mine. There are other people on Teachers Pay Teachers, but it's easy enough to get some of these things for free on Teachers Pay Teachers. I have some two-sided counters. I actually just pulled these off the internet. Let's see, base 10 blocks, coins. I also pulled these off the internet, and I'm going to show how you've been using those in a second. I've also created number cards, which are basically just the equivalent of playing cards. And I actually added 0 through 10, and then I have a couple wild cards, and I put them in 2 different colors, and that's been super helpful for a lot of things. And then shapes. So I don't really have a lot of shapes in there yet, but that was my idea, was to eventually I'm going to have shapes. I don't work with a lot of kids that need a ton of shapes right now. It's kind of just grown as I've needed it. So let me show you 2 different ways I could use the math manipulative library. So the first way would be something like creating a problem for your class where you need manipulatives. So here's an example. It just says David's piggy bank is full. He's decided to spend some of it. Help him count all of the coins to see how much money he has. So this would be a problem that I might create for my kids to do, or my students to do. And in order to sort of populate it with the coins the kids are going to count, I would just open this up and maybe, I might do a couple dimes. I might resize them because that was super small. Depending on the grade, you might have more nickels and pennies, quarters. And you might also, one of the things that I've always done with my students in coins is had them mixed up in not in value order and kind of not all together. And this gives students a chance to practice organizing them before they count. Now, before you get upset with me and you tell me that your kids are always constantly moving things around and kind of messing with things, one tip I have is, 2 tips I have. First thing you need to do is you teach your kids how to undo, right? Command Z if you have Macs. But the first thing you teach kids is how to undo, because if you can undo something, even if you just went here, it's really easy to fix that. And they get really adept at it very quickly, the undo button. The other thing is I also just tell kids to drag shapes from the middle, and dragging shapes from the middle prevents all of those kind of resizing heartbreaks. So back to how I might do this. I kind of mix it up. I want to make sure that I also have heads and tails if I can get them. I don't have heads and tails in all of these right now, but sometimes that's important. And so for a lesson like this, I might actually talk about just how I would organize these rather than just randomly counting them. So that's just a little counting coins tip. And then another way I might use manipulatives, besides using them as part of the problem, meaning you need the manipulatives to solve it. The other thing I might do is if I had a problem that where manipulatives would help students solve it. So if we were going to do this maybe as a number talk, David has 4 coins that total 55 cents. What coins does David have? That's right. I have to question my own grammar. So you might have kids tell you what they thought and then pull these in as they explain it. So again, I'm pulling from the middle. They might say, okay, I started with a quarter. That's 25. I added a nickel. Oh no, I added a dime. That made 35, 45. And of course, they're not going to get it right away. But they might say 50, 55. But that's four coins, not 5 coins. So we might have to get rid of that. Oh, 2 nickels. All right, so that makes sense. So 25, and again, the best part about the manipulative aspect of this is that you can move them around as you count them. So 25, 35, 45, 50, 55, and I'd also need to go in and change this part of the problem. David has... So that is how I've been using coins as part of my larger math manipulative library, and you can see why having being able to pull out tens box, numbers, any of these things, it's just great to have on hand and readily available while you're teaching, just in the same way that you would pull manipulatives from your classroom. All right, I hope this is helpful, and I hope to see you again soon. Thanks for watching this far. If you'd like to learn more about remote learning strategies, particularly teaching math remotely, make sure you check out these 2 videos.